What's going on, family? Happy Thursday. We are in the building once again. Super excited about the show tonight. What go on, man? Good evening, everybody. Welcome in, welcome in. As you're coming in, share with your friends, your neighbors, your relatives, even the people that you don't like, love, or want to be connected to right now. Get them on the show. It's time for them to hop on to connect with us on tonight. They gotta hear the conversation, the banter that we had before the show was pretty powerful. Was pretty powerful. So definitely want them to hop on. Dupriya is in the building, but something's going on with her technology, so she'll be back in just a moment. In the meantime, what is going on with everybody? How was y'all's day? Did y'all have a great day today?
My day was wonderful. I can't
Was
complain.
it really? Yours is wonderful too. Well, Dr. Shamika,
Oh
you look
yeah,
like, well, oh, that's right. We can't call you a doctor.
we're
Shamika.
doctor.
Shamika. Yeah, let's not say doctor. Let's say Shamika. Okay. Yeah, we want to do this right. We want to do this right.
I'm doing wonderful. I am wonderful.
I
How are
love
you all?
it. You know what? I'm Peaches and Herb. Super excited to be in the building with y'all tonight. So I'm ready. I'm
Yeah,
ready to get this party started right
yeah.
for sure. I'm ready to get this party started right. It's gonna be a good show tonight. It's gonna be a real good show tonight. We're waiting on Dupriya because Dupriya is supposed to be co-hosting with us tonight. Snap clap. So while we're waiting on her, Vincent was talking about some interesting things, and I kind of wanted him to share with the community about the things that he was chatting it up with us about before the show actually started. And my technology is tripping right now, y'all. So let's see if I cannot get this working correctly while Vincent tells us what he was talking about before the show actually got started.
Okay, first and foremost, hi all our viewers and everybody. We're gonna have a very impactful and powerful show tonight. One of the things that we was talking about in our pre-show backstage is always powerful, and it was something that was on my spirit when I got on, and it really bothered me when I found out about this. There's a bill that's called Project 2025. It will be instituted January 1st, where certain degrees or professional degrees will no longer have that status of being a professional degree. Several of them, engineering, nursing, uh, teaching, a lot of these different degrees will no longer be considered professional for women January the 1st, which means that all the hard work that our females go into, progressing and being powerful and impactful, it's not going to have that same impact January the 1st. And that's going to affect a lot of things. Now, viewers, listen to what I said. Non-professional. So that's going to affect a lot of things as of January the 1st. And if you'd like to get more into it, just you can Google. Google is a good resource, Project 2025, and you can see firsthand what I'm talking about. And it's really not fair. I don't agree with that at all. None whatsoever.
I don't agree with that either.
Not only is it not fair, it's a tragedy to our nation. It really is a tragedy because it is literally dividing the family and creating those type of oppositions that happened many years ago, and women fought so hard for the liberty to be able to compete in the workforce and did so many things to be able to add value not only to themselves but to their family. And think about all of the ladies that do not have a support system and they have to do everything on their own reconnaissance. They don't have a support system. They don't have anybody else there. They got to do everything and stand on
Mhm.
their own 2 feet. This is just a testament to the level of ignorance that our nation is under.
Oh,
It's just under a level of ignorance that is so
mhm.
unfortunate because that is an ignorant move to take women back to the Stone Ages. It's been several things that he wanted to do against women. since he's been in office, kind of controlling how we take care of our body temples and all the other things that he wanted to have a foothold in, and just wanting to take away the rights for women to be able to choose their path. And it's so unfortunate that he thinks that that's okay. And I said earlier, he's just a puppet on a string. He doesn't have the type of intellect nor the intelligence to be able to do the things that he's doing. So somebody is behind the scenes and they're pulling strings. And
Mhm.
it's gonna be revealed. It's gonna be revealed because every single
Yeah,
time when
it
something
is.
happens like this, the creator of the universe, he don't like this kind of stuff either. So, we'll see, he or she, whatever you subscribe to, because some people will say that the creator is she, so it doesn't matter. But nonetheless, there is a force that's greater and bigger than all of us that sees and knows everything and will address all of this
Mhm.
stuff for sure.
Coffee. I actually have the list of the professional degrees. Check this out: nursing, MSN, DNP, NP, midwife, and CRNAs, physical assistants, physician assistants, occupational therapy, physical therapy, counseling and therapy fields, LMFTs and LPCCs, social work, IT, cybersecurity, engineering, business, MBAs, accounting, public health, health administration, education in all aspects of it, audiology, speech language pathology, arts, and architecture.
That
Listen
is
at that list.
wild. That is wild. That's
That
a
is crazy.
So every field that is greatly needed at the moment.
when
Mhm.
it comes to spirit, mind, and body, that's what's being affected. Your spirit, your
Absolutely.
mind, your body. They're targeting
Absolutely.
our spirit, our mind, and our body. Why? Because they all work together. If your
Correct.
Mhm,
view is all over the place, you're unstable. If you're
Yep.
not spiritually aligned, you're unstable. If you're physically
mhm,
not aligned, you're unstable. So if they
mhm,
take these professional degrees or trades away, that means those people who are advocating for your spiritual health, your mental health, your physical health, they are out of work.
Yep.
Again, it goes back to
mhm,
everything we've been talking about for me being on the show 2 seasons, about us moving forward, propelling forward into a healthier way of life, a progression
mhm.
of life, us coming back into unity, us
Yeah.
being able to guide each other along our journeys through spirit, mind, and body. So it's no surprise to me. The only thing that I would say is this is why it's so important for you to take your life serious and do
Yeah.
your spirit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Facts. Facts. And two, one thing that we have to really hone in on, and I hate I gotta do the little I gotta do my little thing to get back on TikTok, because we will be back on TikTok officially next week. But the one thing that we gotta learn how to do is trust our own brown skin. We have an issue with our own brown skin manifesting, our own brown skin doing some great things. We take issue with that. Oh, I can't believe he doing that or she does this and that. What are you talking about? Find out what they're doing and see if you can't join forces. And
Mhm.
then bring some other people and get on the boat, and don't put holes in the boat. Make sure
Mhm.
Yeah,
that you're pedaling in the same direction as your brother or your sister, so that we all can do this together to win together. That's the bigger picture. That's the maturity aspect, that we have to get to that point where we're thriving together. Someone was saying to me the other day, was saying how um, they were witnessing one of their, the community in which they subscribe to, all of the wonderful things that they're doing. I said, that's cute. It's
Mhm.
real cute.
Mhm.
It's still not enough of us together in one band, one sound. It's not enough.
Mhm.
It's not enough. It's not enough of us making enough noise to make a massive impact. It has to be where we lock arms, and not just lock arms in the four walls of somebody's church building. I'm not
yeah,
even gonna get into that,
yes,
but locking arms in the real world, in the
yes,
real world system, the things that we've been talking about as a community, and the things that we're scheduled and we're planning on doing with each other over
Mhm.
the next set of 5-10 years, is going to be where all of us benefit. It's not going to be just P Coffee benefiting or Shamika
Mhm.
benefiting or Dupree. It's going to be where all of us, you got to create your own ecosystem. We don't
Yeah.
have a choice. We have to create our own ecosystem. It's to the point now, I was talking with somebody the other day to find out where they were producing natural protein if you want to do animal protein. And I finally found a butcher that's actually here in my local area and a fresh farmers market that's right in my backyard. He was like, "Yeah, this is where I go. I don't go to any traditional grocer to buy anything. I don't even get my milk from there. I get my milk directly from where he drinks goat milk, so he gets it from that same farm that he gets his actual animal proteins from." He was like, "Yeah, they have goats there, so I get the milk from them. I get the eggs from them. I get everything that I need directly from a private source." So for one, I'm actually putting something back into the ecosystem that adds value to those families, and two, I'm sustaining my family through a means that's not commercialized, and I don't have to be concerned about what poisons are attached to the products that I'm purchasing, that my family is consuming on a consistent basis. So this week, guys, we're already into the topic. Basically, we're talking mind, body, soul, and spirit, a spiritual awakening as it pertains to our body and our business. Not just our business, but our body and our business. One thing we have to understand is, I was watching a program, and it kind of, I normally have on something about stocks and bonds and stuff like that when I'm going to sleep at night on purpose. I want to kind of keep my mind going forward thinking when it comes to fiscal responsibility and things of that nature. But I awakened to a actual program that was talking about how the system is designed for us to stay trapped in 2D thinking, where we're trapped thinking about, oh, I got to pay this bill, I got to pay that bill, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that, oh, I got, oh, and we're not thinking high enough to be able to tap into our spiritual consciousness, to be able to not only heal our subconscious mind, but to heal our bodies, to heal our psyche, to heal our actual presence, to heal our physical bodies, to cleanse our palate from defects and dysfunctionality and behaviors that are unseemly to a God conscious being, to a God conscious being. When we abuse our bodies by overstimulation, whatever that means, overstimulation, we actually start destroying ourselves as a result of those transactions. You can overstimulate sexually, you can overstimulate by food consumption, you can overstimulate by lack of rest, you can overstimulate through alcohol, through any type of product that you smoke, anything like that. You can overstimulate, and it over time will destroy the body's ability to function at its best and highest use. And we've got to be conscious of this, because in that conscious state, it will help you to see the bigger picture that we are to have dominion. Dominion means to dominate, reign, and to rule. Reign, REIGN, not RAIN. It means to have authority, and it means to replicate. And it's not just talking about physical procreation. A replication can be something that you've done and you've taught several other people how to do exactly what you've done. That is procreation. That is procreation that can literally outlive you. When you teach somebody else what to do, you teach them how to fish. I'm going to give it over to Depriya because this is going to be her segment tonight. But I was talking with somebody yesterday, and this guy was asking me how to teach him how to use AI. And I said, I'll be teaching some classes. I'm not going to just teach one person. It's just too time consuming to teach one person. I said, I'll be teaching some classes. And I said, I'm not going to be doing it for my clients. They're going to do it for themselves. I'm going to teach you how to do what it is that I do. I'm not going to be responsible for what's going to happen with the success of your business and your brand. That's going to be, the onus for that is going to be on you. I'm not giving myself the responsibility of what you need to do for your brand and your business. I was just sharing with a big group of over 50,000 people that if you're going to participate in what we're doing, you need to be willing to share how you did what you did. If you're not going to share how you did what you did, then don't even worry about being here acting like you are participating, because you're technically not. you're not really adding value to anybody because you're not telling people how you did what you did. And I always say the universe is big enough for everybody to get what we all were designed and created to receive. God has no respect of person. He doesn't look at Koffe and say, "Oh, I'm a blessed Koffe." He doesn't do that. He reigns on the just as well as the unjust. It doesn't matter if you are a believer in the Father or not. It doesn't even matter. It's like marriage. It's honorable in all. It doesn't matter what your belief system is. It's an honor to be married. It's an honor to have faith and confidence in not only a source that's greater than you, but your source energy. You are source. You are attached to source. And that means that you are aligned with source. Even Christ said, I don't count it robbery to call myself equal with my Father, because me and my Father are one. So let me yield over to Depria, because this right here got me all fired up. I feel some type of way. I know Shamika feels some type of way. I know Vincent feels some type of way. And I love how the show has evolved. And I appreciate, let me say this, I appreciate everybody being on board with us, making sure that our community, that the awareness is heightened to the point where we have information. Not only just, we're not just talking, we're doing the research, we're going and paying attention. We're looking for the right solutions to the problem. We're not just bringing you problems. We're going to bring the solutions to you. So I'm gonna yield over to Depria. She is co-hosting on tonight. I told her she looking like retro, all retro, like us back in the 80s when we was doing what we was, and I'm telling my whole age right now, but it's okay, my big grown self. But I was around in the 80s. I was around in the 70s, as a matter of fact. So don't hate because I'm cute. But go ahead, Depria.
You guys, me and Koffe, when we have our chats, but we gonna talk about it all.
I love it.
Previous week, we spoke so deeply. Anytime we get into it, we get into it. Okay. We spoke so deeply about how important it is for us to understand that we're in this physical world, but we're not of this physical world. That means the spiritual realm, that's the real realm. And if you're not connected spiritually, you're out of alignment. It's so important that we remember that we have to do inner work. We have to take time to unplug from the outer world and plug into your inner world. We have to take time to reflect on what we're experiencing, because if you're not reflecting, how do you know where you're going? How do you know what you're existing in? You don't. You're just in the wilderness. So until you take time to really just sit with yourself and do some introspection and pay attention to what you're experiencing, who, the type of people you're coming in alignment with, the things that you're coming in alignment with, are you experiencing more negativity or are you experiencing light energy? All of this plays a part on your spiritual well-being, your mental health, and your physical well-being. It all works together. So if you are in that transitional period where you're like, okay, Lord, I don't know which way to go, it's time for you to unplug a bit, plug into your universe. It's time for you to drink more water, sit in stillness, get that clarity that you need. The clarity is never going to come from outside of you. If you're constantly like, girl, I don't know what to do. If you're constantly like, oh, I'm going to just go to the pastor. That's fine. That's cute. That's great. But you have to go seek first the kingdom of God. You have to. And that's within you. It's not anywhere else. You can read your Bible. That's great. I'm here for it. But you have to dwell in the spirit. You have to take time to take that inventory. Write down where you are in your life. Sometimes it's hard for you to see where you are. It's so easy for people on the outside to look at you and they're like, okay, all right. But it's hard for you to see yourself. How often are you looking at yourself in the mirror? When you do look at yourself, are you shying away from yourself? Are you actually loving on yourself, your reflection? Do you love what you see? Those things matter. And it's always those little things that we overlook or unaware of that's making such a huge impact. How are you showing up in your life as a mother, as a friend, as a daughter, whatever? If you are performing these duties, these titles, but in the end you still feel empty, it's some things that got to shift. It's a lot of things that got to shift. So I want to ask my good people on the call, Vincent and Dr. Shamika, one of you can go first. What was one moment where you took self-inventory? You say, you know what? I have to pull it back together. I have to figure out what's going on so I can push forward. What was that moment for you, Dr. Shamika?
I was like, why they have to start off with this kind of conversation this week? What? Like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
But such a great topic. And when I had to do some self-awareness checks, some self-reality, some, you know, just looking inwardly, that started for me maybe, I want to say 7 years ago. And 7 years ago, I had to actually take inventory of where I was, because I was going through divorce, having children and having to navigate, like, how am I going to raise them now, without the male presence being in the home. And then, calling myself trying to date right after that without healing, so now you're adding another layer to your madness. And I just was not happy with myself. So I had to just take everything away, all of the noise. At that time, I stopped watching TV. I was not listening to certain type of music. I wasn't really, if I did like do any like outside, it was just to be with nature, walking and, taking my children to the park and those types of things, because I had to learn how to depend on what was inside of me and not all of the noise that was outside, not giving myself to the madness that was outside of me that was lending to the turmoil that was, building inside. So I had to really sit with myself, and writing really, really helped me. That is how I even started my first journal, is because I had to do it for myself. I had to go inwardly and see exactly, ask God the hard questions like, God, what did you create me for? What am I here for? What's my purpose? And also be honest and accountable to myself with where I was.
Mhm.
A lot of where I was Shamika's fault. So, I had to be honest and real and take inventory of where I was and where I wanted to go. So at that point, I had to make a decision. Hey, you're going to have to take yourself seriously. You're going to have to figure it out, what it is that God wants you to do, and then pull yourself up and do exactly that. So
That's
that's
huge.
pretty much how I had to do it.
That's huge because a lot of times when we are at that crossroad, it's so hard for us to be real with ourselves, be honest with ourselves, and take full responsibility for where we are in our life. It's easy to point the finger and say, oh, my mom, my dad, my ex, my this, my that. Oh, I can't because I have children. You can give yourself 1,000,001 excuses, but that's never going to change the calling that God put on your life or your purpose. So until you be honest with yourself, take full responsibility, and actually take a step back and do that introspection, nothing is going to change. You can perform all day, nothing is going to change. So, Vixen, what about for you? What was that moment like for you? Can't
You
hear
might
you.
want to unmute first, to
Okay,
tell us
okay.
what the
All
moment was
right, I'll
like.
say,
'Cause
all
ain't
right.
nobody hear the
Okay.
moment if you ain't open
Well,
the mic.
well, I was just being respectful. I didn't want any ambient sound. So, this thought, Doctor's wonderful. You know, information
Dr.
she was telling
Wonderful.
us. Yeah, Dr. Wonderful. Okay, and actually, it's really kind of funny. My aha moment is similar to Dr. Shamika's. So mine was maybe 5 or 6 years back, where I also went through parting of the ways of a matrimonial union, and I had to sit back because I was noticing that my heart was shifting in a bad direction, where I only, and please don't mistake this, I love my sisters, and the ladies can tell you that, but I was looking at it differently. Like, man, you hear all this, like, we want a guy who does this and this and this, and then when you have that, it shifts in another direction. So I was at some points I was looking at like, man, was it me? Was it me? It was a lot of different emotions that I went through. And I sat back and I thought about something. You know what? The more I stay in this, the more I'm going to attract this. So I stopped literally worrying about it. And I've always been a very spiritual person. I grew up in a household where spiritualism was very popular. We went to church. We also had the holistic things that we grew up with. I knew what to do, and the first thing that I did was gravitate to was nature, because I'm a big outdoor person. I love hunting. I do a lot of different things, and I know as a man, you need time to get to yourself to meditate and let the man upstairs talk to you. If you do not let him guide you, how can you guide someone else? And that's the first thing. I had to let that go. And like, honestly, just being honest, I felt like I disappointed him. And that's what the biggest thing was. Like, man, did I really listen to what he was saying? I mean, was I getting punished for this? And I thought about it like, you know what? That wasn't what he was trying to do. It's like a cut. When you cut, guess what? It bleeds for a little bit, but it heals. But that area of the skin is a lot tougher than what it was before. He wanted me to go through those things to have a stronger outer exterior, to keep moving forward, to when who's is for you comes, guess what? You're better suited to take on that mantle of being a leader, a protector, a provider. It's a lot of different things that come with that. Mm-hmm. And once I let that go and start focusing on this, and I forgot this part. I had two little people looking at me. Young males. So if I'm falsing and I'm dropping the ball, this is what they will have as a resource one day to pull it from. I wasn't going to let that do that. So I sucked it up, grilled it, ate it, and moved forward. And once I found that, then I started to notice other things were starting to change. Other things were starting to come track. And I felt better. You can sleep. You give off a lot of energy, and I pour it into others. Okay, yeah, I may be going through something, but I know if you give, you receive. And that's what I did. I poured more into others, helping them, just being a better person, journaling, like Dr. Shamik was saying, reading more, surrounding myself with positive people. Mm-hmm. Because when you're in that negative mindset, guess what? You're going to attract negative like minds. Mm-hmm. And they're not going to see you on your journey when you're trying to elevate and go forward. They're going to be like a crab in a bucket. They're going to keep you down, literally. So that was the aha moment for me.
I love it. I love it. Both of you said some pivotal things. It took for you to unplug and to really look at yourself. It took for you to become your own best friend. In all reality, that's what it is. We all have a moment in our life where we either hit a wall and we have to sit down, and what you do in that moment can change the trajectory of your life if you allow it to. What all of us have said so far is you became your own best friend. You allowed yourself to do the work. You stopped blaming other people. You stopped looking outside for everything, and you sat there. You journaled. You became a better person. Your heart posture changed. That's huge. Mm-hmm. That's huge. That alone can just change the trajectory of your life. Your heart posture, but also clearing the noise. We have so much noise around us. In today's time with the internet, with social media, and how fast-paced life is, it's so much noise. And Koffe, we talk about it all the time. All the noise. Now, Koffe, we got to hear from you. We got to hear, how do you clear this noise out? Because especially doing what you do, you're working with people every day. You're dealing with their traumas, their day-to-day life and things of that sort. How do you clear the noise for yourself?
The one thing that I learned when it comes to clearing the noise, I learned it when I was young, because I was raised in a house with 7 children and 2 adults. So I was always around a substantial amount of people. It was always people around. And I learned to go into my room and just shut everybody out, just literally shut the door. And they wouldn't even realize I was gone because it was so many people in the house at one time. Nobody realized I was even gone. And that's what I still do now. I steal away. I kind of did what Christ would do, and I didn't even know Christ did it at the time. But he would steal away, even Christ, with him being the great. It talks about him being the greatest of us all. He was a servant of us all. But you can imagine how many people were trying to compete for his attention in so many different ways. For somebody to walk so circumspect, to have that kind of compassion and that desire to add value to humanity, you can imagine just how crazy it was that so many people always wanted to be in his presence. He had to find a way to isolate himself intentionally. When it comes to getting away from the noise, you have to learn how to isolate yourself intentionally and steal away. And I still do it. And people will be like, I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been? What you mean where I've been? I've been the same place I've been before. I don't, I just steal away. I make a conscious decision to steal away because otherwise you will lose yourself. And as you maturate, it's harder to regain your consciousness once it's lost. It gets harder and harder and harder and harder because why? The body's response time is not as quick. So it takes longer for you to reconnect and to plug back in to the system, the spiritual system, not the natural system, but the spiritual system. We're spirit beings having a natural experience. We are not natural beings having a spiritual experience. It is not that. We are truly spirit beings. Even right now, in this moment, my spirit is speaking to each and every one of you. This is not my natural, this is my spirit speaking to you. Although you see my body moving, my spirit is what causes my body to be able to do what it's doing, even in this very moment. And you have to learn how to realign yourself. So in the mornings when I get up, I have on my worship and my word, period. My worship and my word is the first things that I hear when I rise in the morning. And I literally will turn on someone that I follow that's spiritually awake when I first get up so that I can set an atmosphere of peace in my present state where I am. And you have to honestly do it before the sun manifests on this side of the earth. So wherever you are in the world, you have to align your day before the sun manifests for that day, because by the time you do that, it's really too late. You have to align your day. You have to speak into the day. I command the day to respond the way I say. I command this day to be kind to me. I shake the evil out of the day. And then I speak atmospherically into the atmosphere about the expectation of the day. Now, there's going to always be opposition. There's going to always be forces that show up. There's fiery darts coming at us all the time. But the thing about the darts is you have to be able to withstand them. And if you can't withstand them, it's because you're not giving yourself enough time to become conscious and aware of what's going on around you. It takes time, it takes work, and you have to do it consistently. So I do worship, word, workout, worship, word, workout, worship, word, workout. And I refrain from food consumption when I first arise as well. And this helps to just orchestrate a pure, clean presence that is not attached to anything when you first arise. You might only be able to do it for 10 minutes, but that 10 minutes will literally change the way you see yourself, the way you see your day, the way you participate in things that you have to participate in, the way you treat people. I'll say this and I'll yield back to you. Today, I had a client that I had to go and meet with. And she said, ever since I met you, I've never felt this way about this particular brand that she represents. She's a franchise owner that I have to deal with their compliance for and their return on investment and all of the wonderful things about franchise owners. And she was just saying how she appreciated my communication with them and also my vocabulary. She was like, you have an extensive vocabulary and you're able to articulate very well. And even your emails and even your text messages are significantly different from anybody else. And I said, the reason why I learned those skills is because my dad is blind. And I said, when I was a child, when I was 5 and 6 years old, I was reading to my dad. I was reading literature that was far more advanced than my little young age. And then my dad he went to a school called Hadley School of the Blind, and they would send audios for him to learn audio. So I learned auditory and verbal and vocal and pronunciation and all of the wonderful things. And I also had to learn how to communicate effectively because my father could not see. So because he couldn't see, I had to be extremely detailed, specific in order for him to understand what I was attempting to describe to him. And even to this day, when I talk to my dad, when I describe things, he said, you're probably my only child that has that type of descriptive nature, and that's probably because you spent the most time with me in your yesteryears. And my dad, he was just a prolific kind of person when it came to writing and being able to communicate. My dad has a doctorate degree and he's totally blind, and so he's super well educated. He's been on the radio for 40 years. Like, this dude is a different kind of animal, right? So when you're surrounded by people like that, even in his frailty, even in the challenges that we had, my dad still taught us about taking that time to be conscious. And what Benson said, my dad literally sits outside for hours, just in the presence of nature, just absorbing and self-healing and contemplating and thinking. He's a very critical thinker. And that's what I learned over time. You have to balance it though, Depriya, with the isolation, because I'm accustomed to being alone. I don't mind being alone. It doesn't bother me. I can be alone for weeks at a time without having any human contact, like literally none. I don't have to talk on the phone, nothing. Like, I can send text messages and I'm good. So you have to balance it, because you don't want to be isolated too long, because when you do that, then you're not able to be of value to the other people that you need to be of value to, including yourself. You got to be able to come out of that hermit mode. You can't stay in that hermit mode for too long. So I had to learn how to do that as well, because for the longest time, I would isolate for like months at a time and I'd be fine with it. But then I discovered that would be to your detriment. You still got to have the human contact. You still need people around. You still have to learn how to deal with conflicts. You still have to be able to tap into people's needs without them verbalizing them, understanding all of these different things. So you have to be able to balance all of this stuff out. But that's how I learned to do it, from just needing to be away. When I was in the house with all those people, it was just like, the moment when I was able to move, I was like, I got to get out of here. It's too many people. 10 people every day, all day, no getting away. So you have to learn how to create that space and that environment. You have to want it. You have to want it. It has to be an innate desire for you to step away. Like Depriya was talking about our times of communication. And then when we get to the end of the conversation, it's like, I gotta go, peace. And we just disconnect and unplug. And we may not talk for a month, literally for a whole month. But there is no break in the oneness, because we're still one. You don't become unplugged because you're still plugged in, because we're still all one. We're still all one. But it takes time to learn all that. And Dr. Shamika and Vincent both were very clear in that you must, I was about to pull my journal, but my journal's under here. You must write it down. You have to. I told one of my coaching students today, I said, have you written down what you were doing with your trading? Have you journaled it? Have you put the information in writing? Oh, no, coach, I haven't done that. I said, it's mandatory, because your brain needs to remember what it is that you need to do and what is it and the things that you need to refrain from doing. Your brain's never going to learn that information if you do not write it down. You got to write it down.
For sure. Koffe, you have gave us so much. I learned something new every time we talk. I learned something new about you, and I love it. I love it. Two things that I want to go back to is how you express how our spiritual body and our natural or human or physical body are two different things. They exist together because they have to work together, but they're two different things. This physical reality have a delayed response. The spiritual realm is instant. That's why when you think of someone, they could call you because they have thought. It's already transferred. Energy, it's already transferred. You don't have to say anything to each other, but you feel that energy. But in the physical realm, you have to either drive to get there, you have to eat your food for you to feel full, you have to actually call for the other person to, for y'all to communicate. It's so many things. So understanding how to use both of them together can, one, put you in alignment, but also speed up the change in your life. It can help you heal faster. It can help you transition into a new timeline in your life. It's so many things. That's why I said it all works together. And how Koffe says she get her word, her and her workout and all those before she go out and do anything is so imperative. She's moving her body, but she's also feeling her mind and her spirit. She's putting it all together. So the way we start our day is so important. And I know it may not seem like it because the spiritual realm is something that is unseen. But the moment you decide to start being active in your day to day, it's so pivotal about how your day is going to go. If you're not consciously aware of the tone that you're setting, when I get up, it's silence. Why? Because everything that God has gave me before I started doing my day, now I'm processing. Now I'm making sure that I'm hearing properly. I'm discerning everything that I experienced before I start being a mother, before I start picking up my phone or answering calls. Because the things that I just got, I need to make sure that I'm doing what I'm called to do. But if you're constantly just go, 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 you getting up and you moving, how do you have time to discern where you're going? How do you have time to discern what this day was actually supposed to be? Because your schedule say you're supposed to be there at 8 o'clock. But what did God tell you? What did your spirit say? You know? So all these things work hand in hand. And I'm just so appreciative to be in a community of people who not only do the work, they practice what they preach, they walk and talk, and they help the people do the same thing. And in today's time, with everything that we just learned with Vincent, it's so important that you latch on to the people that you have near you who are willing to help you along your journey, who have done the work and not out here egotistical about their work. Okay? Because because they out there. They out there. But it's not about you. It's not about you. It's about God's glory. Because we're here, you and I create the verse. That's what the universe is. So what are we creating? What are we creating, right?
And it's funny that you brought up about the preparation before you start having processes and procedures and all those type things. And interestingly enough, you got to be conscious of disruptions. Disruptions are intended to get you so far off kilter, and it could take you days to come back from disruptions if you don't handle them effectively. Yesterday, perfect example, I said to myself, because I felt as though, kind of like what Vincent was talking about earlier, I felt as though I had failed myself because I didn't do my income producing activity in the morning like I normally do, because I had to meet with clients very, very early on yesterday. And I said, okay, well, I'll do my income producing activity tonight. I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to get up, take a shower to wake myself up, and then I'll stay up, do my income producing activity, and then I'll go back to sleep. Well, what I didn't realize is with taking that shower and waking myself up, I was way too alert. And so by the time I dozed off for sleep, it was about almost 2 a.m. Well, I'm normally up between 3 and 4 a.m., which means that it was going to be a massive deprivation of rest, right? So I ended up resting until about 5:55 when I normally awaken if I'm delayed in rising for the morning. But what I discovered was I felt like I lost a whole day because I've been accustomed to getting up between 3 and 4 a.m. I was like, by the time I got up, it was and started doing my routine, it was 9 o'clock. And I was like, man, I feel like I lost an entire day. And I had to repent because I could have left the day previously and said, okay, I didn't do my income producing activity today. Oh well, I repent. I'll do it tomorrow. I will make sure that I do what I'm supposed to be doing in the morning, after I do my routine, make sure that I do what I'm supposed to do for my income producing activity and then not break my rest in order to do it because it caused me to be delayed, really, really bad delayed. And I had to rush to get dressed, rush to go meet my clients, rush to do this and rush to do that. And I normally have so much time to get things done because I give myself space to have the time. From 7 to 8, I'm supposed to be digressing, kind of, unpacking from the workout, kind of just sitting still and chilling before I have to hit charts to trade. But none of that happened. I didn't even hit the charts. I didn't even touch the charts till after 8 something. And I wasn't able to produce like I normally produce. So it is very imperative that we understand that distractions have their purpose and we have to pay attention to those because they can literally pull us so far away from what it is that, like what you just said, Depriya, with your consciousness, your spiritual consciousness, that you find yourself, you can end up I talked to somebody earlier this week that had been off kilter for like 120 something days. It's easy to do. It's easy to do. You can find yourself, Dr. Shamika said it earlier, you can find yourself in like years. And you wake up when you become conscious again, you wake up like, what in the world was I doing? What? It's almost like you didn't even realize you fell asleep. It's crazy. So you got to make sure you're aware when it comes to distractions.
Yeah, yeah. Many of us, especially with our younger generations, the phone is one of the biggest distractions. The phone is a great resource if you know how to utilize it. If you can control your mind and not allow your mind to be controlled by the phone, you can do some things with this. But if you're not mentally strong enough to withstand the distractions, you don't even know you distracted. You will sit there for 1 minute thinking, oh, I'm just going to watch a video. And then you're doing this. And now you're a zombie. Now you're addicted to the phone and you can't put it down. So just the phone alone will take you so far off of your path. A lot of us get on the phone and don't get off for hours. And now you're like, dang, I ain't get nothing done. And I got all this stuff that I still have to do. And then once your mind starts to think about it too much, that analysis paralysis sit in, and now you overstimulated and don't want to do it, don't have the energy. And I know we all can relate to that because after you come into that awakening, you consciously have to pull yourself back every time. You consciously have to kill out the distractions and tell yourself, okay, listen, that was cute. Netflix was real cute. Let's get back to it.
But how long am I going to Netflix and chill?
Right.
And that's the thing about, we don't understand the word intentionality. Like we are so far removed from being intentional in our own lives, showing up for ourselves. We don't even take, seriously how sometimes you just have to say, you know what, I'm just not going to do such and such. I am just not going to surround myself with such and such. Like we are very lackadaisical or, whimsical in our everyday life. We don't take seriously what it is that we're supposed to be doing and who we are and how we show up. So I'm very big on even my children, like intentionally plan your day, intentionally plan how you want a situation to work out. Even if it doesn't go that way, you have set in place what your desire is for, a situation, a job, or, anything. you have intentionally worked something out so that you can see that, hey, I'm putting in that effort. I'm putting in the effort to move my life in this direction so that I am able to be more purposefully showing up in my own life. Like we're not intentional enough. And I feel like we need to reevaluate that word and tell people be more intentional with showing up for yourself and others. How you show up is going to show out, in other people's lives. Because guess what? We were here to bring in souls, bring other people into Christ. How can we do that if we're just whimsical in our own lives? We don't take ourselves seriously.
It's funny you say that, Dr. Shamika. I was thinking about something, and I've never shared this. The people in the house, they know there is so much power in words, life and death, and the power of the tongue. So, literally, how I start my day, okay, you can speak certain things into your life. I started out with a bottle of water. Mm-hmm. But before I even drink it, I put my intent in this because I'm taking it in. Mm-hmm. And from that, I also put other things that have my intent to keep me focused. I constantly keep paper that I write on and keep in my pockets to keep me on what my goals are for that day. And I teach my sons that same thing. Hey, man, if you really want to do this, you have to take this, go hands, foot, all in with it. Put things in place that's going to keep you in that direction. And Dupree said something that was really, really impactful. And I'm going to say what it was. You have something that are called energy disruptors. They're put into your energy field to throw you off. This is a big one. This is a big one. That's why you can go around certain people and you be drained after you leave them. Mm-hmm. They've taken all your energy intent away from you. They completely distorted. That's why Koffe, when you say when you woke up, you feel like your whole day was gone because you didn't start your normal, consistent routine. It threw you off. But see, that's the thing. When you're thrown off, what can you put in place to get you back on track? That's where the big thing comes in. And I think a lot of people don't have resources or tools to get them back on track or to keep them in track. I think we call it, I lost my train of thought right quick. You have things in place, policies and procedures. We know what that means for those who are in certain fields to keep you in check. And one of those is you're having a community. You need that, man, of like-minded people, man, to help you stay on track, to boost you up or to give you that energy that you need. Hey, man, hey, you're doing well, you're doing good. When we first got on today, Koffe said something. What did you say, Koffe? And I was messing with you about it. I can't remember what it was. And I spoke it 10 back. It's something you said.
Koffe always saying something.
I forgot what it was. But when I said it, she like, you know what? You're right. I am.
He said, how are you doing? I said, amazing. And he said, yeah, you are. I said, you know what? I am. Yeah, I am.
Guess what? Right immediately there, a whole different jolt of energy jumps straight to you. You'll be surprised, man. That those words are real powerful, man. And I think a lot of times we not discredit, but we don't really own that tool that you have, which is your voice. You'll be surprised what you can get done with some things with the right intent.
I shared with a friend a few days ago how when I lost my voice for a few days, and Koffe know because I had an event and I didn't have a voice, and I shared with her. When I didn't have my voice was gone, and this had nothing to do with anything outside of God just told me to be quiet, I guess. And I didn't realize how powerful my voice was. And then I started praying and I'm like, Lord, thank you for my voice. Thank you for allowing me to have the right to speak over my life, but also pray and be that light for other people when they feel like they don't have a voice. Because I remember what it was like when I, as a kid, in many moments where I didn't feel like I had a voice. So all of that moment of me not being able to speak, I had to really think about that. Your voice is something so powerful. You can speak life into yourself. That's all a part of you becoming your own best friend along your journey. You have to be able to speak life into yourself. It doesn't matter your circumstance. It doesn't matter how many supporters you have. It doesn't matter who's helping you along your journey. If you can speak life into yourself, you can change your life. If a friend of yours, like Koffe, when she pray, I just be like, oh, I just want to hug her because she speak life into you. She's not gonna ever let you have a moment where you're not uplifted. And that's so important to have, like Vincent said, your community of people who's going to lift you up. But it all starts with you. Are you willing to lift yourself up out of whatever it is that you're experiencing? Are you willing to take full responsibility for your life from this day forward and not care about the noise outside of you, not care about what the president is doing? What are you doing? How are you becoming more self-sufficient for yourself and your family? How are you building community in alignment with what God has for you? How are you building your unity within your family, within your close friends? What are you doing within yourself to where it projects outwardly? Koffe, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Vincent, Dr. Shamika, for being here and pouring not just into this part of our community, but in your everyday life. Y'all are doing it every day. Y'all are not just on here for a Thursday for a moment and being here showing up. You show up every day, no matter what you're experiencing. You know that that's just a moment and you're going to transition out of that. So thank you all so much for being here. Thank you so much for shining your light and continuing to shine brighter, even when things are coming to try to dim your light.
Yes, y'all get some snap class for the co-host for tonight's show, Lady Zapriya in the building. All right, so now the software has changed something, which is going to be great. So when they put their contact information in the chat on the show tonight, it's going to hyperlink you directly to their actual site. Before, it didn't hyperlink, so you would have to copy it and paste it into your search engine. But now when they put their information in the chat after the show ends, you'll be able to connect with them on their social platforms or get more information about the products and services that our thought leaders have that are connected to the program. So super excited about that. When the show came on tonight, you saw the commercial for our new book, From Devastation to Deliverance. It's a powerful, powerful project. There has been a delay in the autograph copies because of the massive layoff with Amazon. They laid off too many people too fast. And for people that have used their partnership for printing your publications, it has been a crazy delay. So the publications were ordered on the day of release, which was 11/11, my birthday. They're not scheduled to arrive to December 16th. And that is almost 2 months. Almost like that's like what, 7 6 7 weeks later, and it's normally like 10 15 days, but it's been weeks and weeks and they kept delaying it. So definitely, I definitely apologize, for everyone that was waiting on your autograph copy. As soon as we get them in hand, we get them autographed, we will get those out to you. We hope that you'll have them before Christmas. That's what we're hoping that will happen. So definitely keep those families in your thoughts and prayers for this massive layoff. It's a lot of people that have, even someone in my family was impacted by these major layoffs that are happening with these brands as a result of them not being prepared for all of the shifts that have happened in the marketplace globally. There's so many shifts that have happened, and a lot of these companies just were ill prepared, or they've leaned so far into technology, not realizing that they need human intelligence to be able to tend to the artificial intelligence. And now they're on that deep end, attempting to get back to shore and start over again. So just keep our nation in your thoughts and your prayers, because we all need to be bombarding heaven about what we're dealing with as a nation. We are going backwards as opposed to forward, and that's a result of us getting away from our God consciousness as an entire nation. This has been going on for years and years, and now it's just become a big, catastrophic, fast moving, destructive snowball effect, and it's just the snowball is just running down the hill, and it's to the point where we're almost not able to stop it. But there is somebody that I know that can stop it and turn this entire thing around for our nation to be back one under God, indivisible, with real liberty and justice for all. We say that, but we still have not lived that. It's not what we say, it's what we actually do. So, with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in, tapping into this week's edition of the P. Coffee Brown Show. We will be doing more segments like this. We have some new panelists that will be coming on board with us, connecting with us as we continue to share and make certain that we're aware, alert, and awake as it pertains to what's going on in not only our lives, but the life of this nation. So until next time, grace and peace be to you and your households, and we'll see you guys on another edition of the P. Coffee Brown Show. Peace.
Hi, it's your favorite natural goddess, Depria. I help women heal, grow, earn, all while becoming their version of her. And I want to be the first to welcome you to the Rich Goddess Universe.